Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Darkstone Dossiers with your host, Anthony Darkstone.
Greetings and welcome. I am delighted to have a slightly different show today. Many of you who've attended the Darkstone Dossiers, and I see many of you in the audience, welcome and greetings. I am really looking forward to the show because it combines two of my great passions. One is the work of Ian Fleming, and the other, magic. I am thrilled that other than Mr. Fleming himself, we have the closest thing, and that is the most remarkable guest ever. This, as you've seen in the opening title, is a show that is produced, well, by me, but the SAM International Assembly. SAM is the abbreviation for the Society of American Magicians, the oldest magical society in the world. Started in 1902, and among its many, many illustrious presidents, we've had Houdini and a few other wonderful people too. As is customary, because we have people from all over the planet attending, I like to make them feel welcome and to say, Buonasera tutti, guten Abend, bonsoir, buenas noches, bonne nuit, and for all my Russian pals in the US, particularly in New York, Dobry den. I trust wherever you may be, you have your libations handy. Mine is a vesper. How on earth do you make one of these, Anthony? Aha, I've had expertution. I'm going to share that with you later. If you want to, later on in the show, because after the show proper finishes, we have a section called Meet and Greet, which in New York parlance is schmooze and mingle. And that's where your mic can be switched on and you can get to speak directly with my guest and ask him anything you want. But before we do that, the International Assembly of the SAM, I have to tell you, has members quite literally worldwide. I think let's just begin with a still of a man who basically started it all. So let's pull up the still of Mr. Fleming. Some of you may know, and others may not, Mr. Fleming actually worked for the British intelligence services during the Second World War. Roald Dahl, who is another author, Norwegian, but he wrote in English, also worked for British intelligence. So Mr. Fleming was more than qualified to write about a number of things. Some people may ask, where did the character name come from? Well, if you're a writer and you've written any books, very often the muse leaves you and you write wonderful stuff and you think, what can I name my character? Mr. Fleming happened to be at his home in the West Indies, glanced up at a bookshelf, and there was a book that said, Birds of the West Indies by James Bond. And that's where Mr. Bond, to coin a phrase, was born. Basically, for me, my love affair began 62 years ago when I was 13 years old. I saw a poster for Dr. No, and I wandered in, and I don't know what to say, to use a cliche, it just blew my mind. I want to watch this movie possibly 20 times after that. And prior to that, many, many years later, when I worked in artist management, which was allied to the movie industry, a young actor called Sean Connery. Now, take a good look at that picture and the expression on his face. He was playing a character called O'Banion in a Tarzan movie. The story goes, and I have no idea if it's true, but you know what? I'd love it if it was really true, that they watched him in this and said, okay, let's bring him in as one of the people for auditioning for Bond. He ticked all the boxes, obviously, plus the fact that he was a Scot, which if you really, really read about Bond, you will know his DNA is Scottish, his mother was Swiss, and truly international. According to that story, that's where he kind of got the part. For me, Sir Sean Connery was the only Bond. But that's me. Hey, what can I say? Everybody has their own, own thing. I was absolutely, totally blown away. Many, many years later, I was considerably older at the time, to understand, probably about 23. And ran into, because of the job I was doing, Miss Ursula Andress. So you can imagine a 22-year-old was infatuated with this woman at 13 to actually meet her. So life is good. Now, that's all the background for you. Most of you will know all of that. Thank you for coming here. Many, many magician friends and many, many people I understand are lay people. So settle back and enjoy the show. Before I actually cut to my guest, it's traditional in the Darkstone Dossiers to open with a clip. And I think this clip is probably the best way to kind of partially introduce my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, as far as I'm concerned, the world's leading expert on all things Bond, Mr. David Zaritsky.
Anthony, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm good. Thank you very much. I am wonderful. And the reason I'm also wonderful is because I have you here. We've been trying to do this since October of last year. We're going back and forth and looking at schedules and everything else, because I know apart from Bond, you have a couple of other things that keep you busy and some 1,000 people that you employ, among other things. David, what I want to do here is to just very briefly, without going into too much detail, because we have a clip that will do that, tell everybody here your enduring passion for Bond. And I know you're quite fond of the latest one, Daniel Craig.
Yeah, you know something. I think, and first of all, thank you for that introduction. I'm not the most accurate James Bond expert. I'm just the loudest. That's all. I mean, that's my only claim to fame. Just the loudest. But I think my passion comes from a deep-seated psychiatric issue where, you know, I had a father who was very busy, very successful businessman, but I had that moment. You know, that father moment with James Bond and James Bond movies. And it was always something he set up for me as a child, that it was an escape. You know, you have this life, you have this stress, this pressure. I mean, look, we're in a pandemic right now. And if for 2.5 hours, you can escape to different locations, amazing props, gadgets and stunts, and, you know, a dashing spy, that's not my life. And so it is this kind of drive to, you know, the love of escape, but then what's transpired over time is following the Bond lifestyle. So the whole fact that, wait a minute, you could actually own James Bond's watch, like this one from Spectre, or this screen used item right here that I have from Casino Royale that I just received.
I'm actually going to stop you there because,
please.
You know, because I really want you to talk about this. I know, and we're going to be talking about it, you have a lot of genuine props, not kind of repros from the various movies. But this shirt you're especially wearing because this came from a movie, right? Was this one actually worn by Daniel Craig?
Yeah, this is a treat for the people out there that know me well. So there was an interview with somebody very special a few months ago who said that she had quite a few pieces since she worked on the film, and I received a wonderful box. And this screen use Daniel Craig Sunspell shirt, which has no tags or anything, guys, was in the box. So this has never been debuted, and I figured I would debut it here. And Alex Lamas is giving me a thumbs up. So thank you, Alex, good friend of mine.
Oh, okay, good. Well, as you've begun to explain that, I know we have another little clip, which is actually, you have many clips, and it was really hard work trying to figure out which ones were, you know, to choose, really. You know, it was almost spoiled for choice, as it were. But you attended the premiere of No Time to Die in London, and a couple of other things as well. But one of the things that happened to you was that you were acknowledged as the expert all the way from the United States, and a major network, ITV in England, actually had you on one of their shows talking about it. And I kind of figured, for everybody watching, that might be very interesting for them to see, because it fascinated me listening to you on that show. So let's just run that clip.
7 as our next guest, David.
Talk to us, David, about the Bond experience, because this is something you do online. So just be kind enough to share how that got started, what it's about, and if people can join it.
Yeah, anybody can join. I mean, it's primarily a YouTube channel supported by Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. But typically, I'll tell you exactly what happened. I started writing about the Bond lifestyle, and I'm an okay writer, but it just takes so long, and I want it to be quick. And I've always had this, you know my brother well. We all have had in my family a panache for just showmanship, and I wanted to get in front of a camera and do what I was doing in writing, but on a camera. So essentially, I decided to do this for another channel out there. And one point, good friend of mine, this gentleman named Remmert, said, you know something? The videos have become so popular, why don't you just kind of do it on your own? And so in 2012, I took the Bond experience to its own YouTube kind of scenario. And yeah, the rest is history. But it's nothing more than me as just a typical Bond fan. I don't like to call myself specialist or special. I'm not. I have a following. And I think the reason I have a following is because I'm like any Bond fan. When I get a box in, it's as exciting as anybody else getting a box in and ripping it open and getting toys and props and gadgets and clothing. And I have it as a megaphone. That's basically what I do.
Well, you spoke about meeting Daniel Craig and an interview with him. You have quite a long, interesting, fascinating interview. Obviously, we can't play it all, but I just want to share a little snippet of it. But before I do, anybody who kind of wants to watch the whole thing literally joins the Bond experience via YouTube or Facebook or social media, and they can watch the whole thing, which, by the way, I would heartily recommend you doing. I just can't fit it in entirely into this show. So if we can just pull up David talking to Daniel Craig.
As I watched No Time to Die, when you think about the cars and the watches, but especially the clothing, what is that process like? How do you choose these clothes?
It's complicated on a Bond movie, especially all of them, because we never have a complete script at that point. So we have kind of rough ideas of temperatures. So is it hot? Is it cold? Because at one point we were going to spend a lot of time in the cold in this movie. So we were talking about which cold weather clothes we were going to wear. And with the clothing that I wear at the end of No Time to Die, that was really where we spent a lot of time and a lot of energy looking at reference material for that. And we had pants made, and the idea was I wanted to refer back to his naval background, but I wanted it to be with a twist. I didn't want it to be just like, kind of like a stock uniform. And that's what he feels comfortable in. It's like his lucky underwear.
And this film has a lot of humanity to it.
Yeah, I just feel like digging into the humanity of those people, and especially with Bond, for me, it was like important to show that he's fallible. He's kind of flawed and makes mistakes, and he wants to protect the world. I mean, it's kind of like that's sort of easy.
I think it's always been important for you to be a very fit Bond, but still be able to move well. Is that correct?
There was Simon came on board really early on. Thank God. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do the movies without him. But to get fit and be able to do the stunts and keep fit while doing it, and I've injured myself so many times over it.
I stepped back and I took a look at your tenure as Bond, and I saw some really profound themes: betrayal, trust.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we kind of hark back to Casino Royale and his relationship with Vesper, but it felt powerful in that film, and it felt like something we needed to revisit. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to come back, because I felt like we should kind of wrap that up.
And you did it amazingly successfully. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a real cracker.
I hope so. I mean, it's a Bond movie first and foremost, and we have to remember that. So, we didn't go out to make Hamlet. And I think we succeeded in making a great Bond movie.
You've been our badass Bond. You've been our emotional Bond. You've been a Bond that we can identify with. And I just want to thank you
Oh,
so
it's
much
very
for
lovely of
doing
you.
it.
Thank you. That's very, very lovely of you. Thank you.
So that was a really important interview, really impactful.
Well,
Really sweet.
it actually is an important interview. The whole thing is 28 minutes long, and I watched it like about 3 times, believe it or not, and it was really hard work cutting it down with my editor in Vegas to kind of like bring it into context of the show. I'm gonna like go back a little bit from the modern to the previous one. Again, don't shoot me. I just happen to think this is my favorite movie for a number of reasons. One, because I think in terms of cinematography, it was superb. The lighting, the camera work, the stunt work, everything on it was great. The fight scene on the train was probably the best I've ever seen. I have back in the day, way back in the day, 50 something years ago, used to do a little bit of stunt work. So I have an appreciation for second unit directors, for stunt choreographers, and how much work it takes to do things, stop, measure something, bring the double in, go back, bring the actor back in, and it takes forever. I also, as a result of that, became a huge fan of Robert Shaw. If it was up to me, I would have given him a knighthood before he passed. But hey, I got nothing to do with that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful actor. And he fitted the bill so well in From Russia with Love. I also liked it because Sean Connery's first wife, before they split up, etc., was Diane Cilento. The late was Daniela Bianchi. And I think you're kind of carrying on that tradition because your wife's name also begins with a D. He's just nodding.
Sorry, you broke up for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. Shall I say that again?
What was your question? Did you have a question?
It wasn't really a question. We were just conversing, really. I was just
you
saying,
dated her?
No. Oh, I wish. I wish.
Oh, no.
I
you
wish.
froze for a second. I thought maybe you dated her. I'm like, this is big news.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would have been for me as well. No, yeah, I wish. Me and 40 million other guys. Yeah. No, Diane Cilento was, I don't know which part you missed, was Sean Connery's wife. And then Daniela Bianchi, who played the Russian from Russia with Love, who had the Lecter machine, etc., etc. She was a Daniela. And all I went on to say in terms of conversation is that you're kind of also associated with a lovely lady with the name of similar.
Oh, Danielle, you mean my wife?
Yes, I do.
who is hiding in the farthest part of the house as possible. Patient as can be, but
you know what?
What's that?
I think you guys are just so clicked and cool and wonderful. You're going to hate me for this, but I have to do it. We're going to pull up a still of the both of you together.
Don't you do it. No, go ahead.
I'm going to do it.
Do it. Aw.
Look at that. When the man says Bond, living Bond, and the Bond experience,
yeah,
he's not kidding. Is that a Bond lady? Is that a Bond lady or what? Yeah. No, that's your good lady, and of course we have to mention her.
Absolutely, well. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna kind of by way of introduction. I mentioned a little bit of stunt work, and I knew some stunt guys, etc. And I love that movie for millions of reasons. I won't go into them here, but I actually acquired because I was gifted this. And that's my only Bond prop that I have. Well, I'm told, and I'm no reason to disbelieve the gifter, that this was the one used to kill Ali Karam Bey on the train in From Russia with Love, who was, of course, the great actor, Pedro Armendáriz Jr. Now, I just kind of showed off a little bit with my tiny little knife. It was real.
Glad you finished that sentence.
It's real. Because I just want to throw the floor open to you, David, because I know you from your vast collection, you've been kind enough to bring a few items to share with us. So the floor is yours, please. In any order you wish.
No, I appreciate that. And I think this was a fascinating topic when you spoke to me about it, because people don't automatically think of magic and James Bond. And, you've got things like in Dr. No, where you've got superstition. You've got Quirrell, who's afraid of a dragon. There's no dragon, it's a tank. You've got Diamonds Are Forever, where they actually do magic. In Circus, they had Zambora, the Zambora act, where Tiffany Case goes in and she's watching Zambora turn into a gorilla, and she literally, the distraction of that magic allows her to escape. You've got obviously Live and Let Die, where they go into the occult shop, fold it, wrap it lengthwise, if you will. And you've got so much about the occult and magic and things like Baron Samedi and Solitaire. Obviously, you've got tarot cards, galore. So, I mean, you've got situations where you've got all of these things coming in, even Octopussy, where they say Roger Moore is doing a bit of a magic act with a gorilla suit. And then Tomorrow Never Dies, you have Gupta, who, if you see any of the card throwing that he does into watermelons, Ricky, it's just amazing what he does. But magic is also can be about illusion and sleight of hand. And James Bond is a master of sleight of hand. So I've got a couple things here that are things that aren't what they appear to be. So first of all, we've got a Romeo and Juliet. We've got a cigar case, but inside we've got the rebreather from Thunderball. So it's not a cigar, it's a life-saving tool. And speaking of Live and Let Die, what a segue, David. Well done, sir. You've got the flute from No Time to Die listen to me, No Time to Die. Daniel Craig much? That Baron Samedi uses in Live and Let Die with Roger Moore. And the flute turns into a walkie-talkie. That was even before cell phones. Cell phones, you say? I feel like I'm selling this stuff. You've got Pierce Brosnan's cell phone from Tomorrow Never Dies, which, yeah, it's a cell phone, sure, but it's also a fingerprint scanner. It can also electrocute people and, I don't know, drive a BMW. You've got things, by the way, Bond women, they also have little sleights of hand and illusion. For example, this is the lipstick holder from the You Only Live Twice, but it's actually a bomb that comes out and explodes in the movie. You have, don't hate me for this, and I know, Anthony, you've been very nice saying, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. People don't shoot me for this. This is from Never Say Never Again. And of course, this is the grenade pen that he uses on Fatima Blush. By the way, for those of you that do like Las Vegas, and I know many of you do, this is Q's ring that allows him a, well, sort of magical moment to actually tip the scales of luck on the different slot machines that he has. And Pierce Brosnan. Now, I'm just warning you, for all of you out there, cross your legs. This is a warning, because these are, oh, sir, I said cross your legs. You didn't listen. Now, these are X-ray glasses from The World Is Not Enough. So again, it's all these magical and illusion-like moments where things, like a nice fashion ring is actually something that can break glass and push it forward. So just a smattering of different props. And Anthony, do you want me to kind of end it on kind of the big prop, the big transformational prop?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
All right. Well, any good gentleman out there, and lady, by the way, should have, in the 1970s, a cigarette case complete with cigarettes. And they should also have a beautiful, beautiful gold Colibri lighter. I'm not going to light it in front of you today because I'm inside. And a beautiful fountain pen. You never know what kind of contract you're going to need to send. And you know something? Anthony dressed up today. I look like Daniel Craig Schlub, but he probably has some beautiful cufflinks like this one. Now, this looks like everything a gentleman might need, called Scaramanga in The Man with the Golden Gun. However, if we take our particular lighter and we screw in the pen like this, and we take our cigarette case, pull this out, and push this in, I can almost hear the music. Why do I sound like Peter Griffin? All right. And then suddenly, no more pen. We now have the golden gun from the man with the golden gun. And wait for it, we can even, as it starts to fall apart, put in the 007 bullet. Shocking, positively shocking.
Wow. Those, everything from the actual movies, the actual props, right? Yeah.
No. Those are screen accurate props. They're not screen used. So that it's very, very difficult to find screen used props unless you're going to pay. I think on Her Majesty's Secret Service rings just went for like $50,000. So
Wow,
I have a lot
yeah.
of wardrobe pieces that are screen used, but then there's screen accurate, screen replicas, and then replicas. It boggles the mind.
Well, being a producer and a performer myself, a magician, and oh gosh, people are going to hate me. Well, hey, you know what? It's my favorite movie.
They're not going to hate you. They're going to love you like I love you.
From Russia with Love. We have a couple of stills where Q is walking in with a briefcase. And if you look on the bottom left of the screen, Bond, Sean Connery, is right there. Here it is. We'll pull it up. Come up yet? Yes, there it is.
How she blows.
Yeah, Desmond Llewellyn. In my way of thinking, probably the best Q ever. But hey, you know, who cares what I think?
I agree.
There in the bottom corner of the left-hand corner is Sean Connery, obviously, is Bond, and he's bringing that briefcase. Now, we have a couple of stills. I actually had one built, but I couldn't kind of get it down. And so, but there it is. There it is. The sovereigns and the little dagger. And the bit that I loved, oh, there it is. There it comes. Whoa. Yeah.
Does yours, the knife comes out and everything as well?
Yes, because I had a guy make it for me who is a what we call in the business a prop master. So you go to them and you say, I want this and this and this for my magical effect. And in one of the forthcoming Darkstone Dossiers, one of those gentlemen in the business will be featured. So that's for mainly for magicians. And that was the actual knife that we used in the briefcase. I mean, it's not from the movie or anything, but you know, it's there. And magicians will know the reason for that briefcase was then, you know, we throw a bunch of cards up in the air and the knife shoots out of the briefcase and the selected card lands on it. So it's all to do with the magic effects, but kind of was Bondish in a way. Yeah. And the other reason I loved the From Russia with Love and the fight scene on the train. Come on, some of you older folks would recognize this.
Oh, the Garrett watch.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, but I got to have one of them. No, it's not from the movie.
Absolutely.
It's not from the movie. All our magician pals, Joel and my magician pals who are watching here will go, I know what that's called. It's an R-E-E-L. Yes, it is. It just means, we're not going to say anymore. That's it.
No, but it's so great because, Anthony, the fact that you show that, I mean, a briefcase can be hidden in plain sight. I mean, I love to call this an invisible hobby. Like this watch that I'm wearing right now from Spectre, in the movie, for those that have seen Spectre out there, it literally is a bomb. I mean, it explodes in Blofeld's face. So the fact that Bond is so much about these things hiding in plain sight is, to me, that kind of magical moment.
Absolutely. Now, you know, everybody, myself included, gets excited about the Bond ladies, obviously, and certainly all the different, you know, Bond actors, etc., who played the part. I have a kind of sneaking admiration and love of the Bond villain. I'm going to pull up a still of three of them, which are Donald Pleasance. Oh, there he is. Donald Pleasance, Max von Sydow, and Charles Gray. I mean, the Charles Gray one, the name of the movie escapes me at the moment, but where the cat gets killed and another one turns up. How cool is that for an illusion? Oh, thank you. I knew you'd know.
Yeah.
How cool is that for a magic illusion? You know, you shoot the cat and another one shows up. And I thought each one of these brought a certain, well, all three wonderful actors, obviously, a certain kind of menace to the role that it was needed. And of course, going back all those years with Joseph Weisman and the hand crushing the frog. And, for me, I mean, I'm like a 10-year-old kid now. Just talking to you, having you on the show and talking about this and having you kind of share it, which is just great. And here's a picture that I absolutely adore, which is Max von Sydow with a cat. Don't ask me why. To me, this is the epitome of not your average, everyday dictator, I want to rule the world villain. This is a classy man, it's a connoisseur who knows good wine from bad. And there's something about this picture says, I don't care if he takes over the world. Yeah, I go work for him.
Other than the fact that he's holding a cat and he's mansplaining like nobody's business. Yeah, I would say he's pretty dapper. But hey, backroom people, focus on this for a second. So Anthony, I need to send this to you. This is a screen.
What is it? Let's put. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
It's Blofeld's little device that he puts on his chair to kill people, to electrocute them in their chair. And this is exactly screen accurate from the film. It's not used in the film, but this is what he would have been like, number 2, you are completely disappointing. You're mansplaining and holding a cat. Boom, dead.
Love it. Graciously accepted. Thank you. What can I say? Would be churlish to refuse.
No, that was just for the show. I'm not actually going to send it to you.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Well,
thank you.
Can we edit that out?
Yeah. Thank you, David. It's been really great having you on the show now. Yeah, bye. No, I'm kidding, man. I'll tell you what, speaking of villains, Austrian-German singer called Lotte Lenya, who played Rosa Klebb. I mean, I keep coming back to this movie. There's so much cool stuff in it. I know there is in all the movies, but this one really ticked all the boxes for me. There she is with Robert Shaw. And here was a prop I definitely wanted, her shoes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Ferragamo shoes that she has.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think it's illegal to do that. So no,
probably.
We didn't build that as a prop, but I'm sure many of my fellow performers in magic could probably think of a couple of interesting uses to have something like that built into your shoes. I'm not going to say anymore. So, there was all kinds of cool stuff. We've seen the briefcase, we've seen everything. Now, we've spoken about villains and we've spoken about, in the nicest possible way, of course, we all know they're acting. And I thought, because you are so enthused and made the connections between magic and Bond and the world of illusion. And I think in one of your clips, you referred to Doug Henning, and it was all very theatrical, and why not? Yeah. I thought it might be nice to have a small tribute to you personally by 4 members from our SAM International Assembly.
Wow.
They're not exactly Bond villains, but anyway, here they are. Just for you, David. Max.
Wow. Amazing.
Well, the first performer, in fact, was Magic Noor, aka Nuruddin Balawi, from Morocco, and he truly is international and speaks several languages fluently. That was followed by our Assembly Envoy for Canada, Dr. Michael Leakey, followed by Karina Fenton in England, and of course, the last one, having a kind of spoof with a spoof cat, etc., was actually a very, very good friend of mine from England, also one of our international assemblies. And I thought it might be cute as you were talking about magic and the links, because non-magicians who are watching this, lay people, I hope it gave them a little moment of entertainment, but by the same time, seeing that, well, you're seeing one thing and then you're seeing something else.
Yeah.
What you're not seeing is there, and what is there is not there. And how does, a ring kind of go through and then join, and a table just kind of comes up. So these four wonderful people, I got in touch with them and I said, yeah, look, let's put something together. So we did all of that, and I thought it might be kind of amusing for you.
Thank you so much for doing that. As a layperson, or as a muggle, as I would like to say, thank you so much. That was great.
Okay, that's fine. And I thought, you would have a lot of your followers, stroke fans, and I thought it might be nice to actually show the real link between magic and Bond. We did try to get, well, actually, I don't know if we can. Let me just reach down into my pocket handkerchief here. Well, that's all it is. It's just, and of course, you would need a golf ball.
Wow.
If you were playing golf with Mr. Auric Goldfinger. I think right. We have a still somewhere.
Of course you do.
Let's have a look. It's coming up.
I'm going to need it because I forgot what he looks like.
And
an odd job.
Odd job, exactly.
With the magical hat.
The caddy, there he is. There he is.
Look at that.
Now, much magic has been done with golf balls and what have you. Magicians will know. We have another one. From Goldfinger there it is. In movies, some movies have like iconic lines that you never forget.
Yes.
Like Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I mean, everybody remembers that. Yeah. And sometimes they invent ones that don't exist, like Play It Again, Sam. Never existed in Casablanca. This one I particularly love because people always say to me, go ahead and do it. And I thought, you know what, for a bit of fun, just for you, David, the line from this movie, both of them. "Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." I love that.
I mean, it's like I'm in the movie listening to you. That's how accurate that was.
Come on.
No,
yeah,
it's
great. Yeah.
Rich Little has nothing on you.
I asked Joel to send you $10. Right. Okay. Let's pull up Honey Rider and Fatima Blush, because you mentioned her, didn't you? Well, I did, and you did. Now, that's an iconic scene coming out of the water in that bikini with a knife strapped through, underneath the mango tree. No, I am not going to sing it. And then, of course, one of my favorite actresses. I mean, man, I have a deep crush on this lady, have had for years, who played Fatima Blush. There it is. So, all of these things. And there is, the prop snake. And like you said, one last still, which we have to show from Live and Let Die, which you referred to a few times, David. Let's pull that out. I mean, there it is, Baron Samedi, the guy with the hook, of course, the lovely Jane Seymour, Yaphet Kotto. That, to me, was also a kind of really iconic movie in many ways, particularly the ending scene, where the Baron Samedi comes up from the grave. How cool is that? And we have that in magic. Cool. You have that in magic. It's called levitations. Now, I think you're particularly fond of this because you showed us the alligator, and you have a fondness for this movie. Is that right, David?
Yeah, it's my favorite Roger Moore movie. I mean, I think it's a mix of Roger Moore just looking incredibly stylish, but also the whole idea of the occult, and the different aspects from the Fleming books all combined together. It's just great. I mean, it's just he's totally bad A in this movie as well. Yes. You need to have another Vesper. By the way, you didn't even ask me what I'm drinking.
Oh, I know what you're drinking.
What am I drinking?
You're drinking 15-year-old Ban Scotch whiskey.
No, sir. This is new school. You're drinking old school. This is new school, appropriate. So this is Johnny Walker Black from No Time to Die.
Ah, okay.
Nothing special, but
that would have been my second guess, David. But you
Of
know what?
course.
I kind of wanted you to have the spotlight. Really. Yeah.
no, it's your world. I'm enjoying playing in it. Absolutely. How is that
Oh.
Vesper? Is that pretty good?
Yes, I had a longtime friend, which he is a cigar aficionado. Incidentally, like me, he favors Romeo y Julietas as well. He is a cordon bleu cook, chef,
Wow.
a sartorial gentleman, as you will see. Oh gosh, his talents are unlimited. He's a consultant for major Magic TV things. As a member of our assembly, he's my pal. What can I
that's
say?
nice.
He's great. He taught me how to make great martinis. And we were on a show, and I kind of got in touch with him, and I said, you know what, Scott, you're a Bond fan. You love Sean Connery, Sir Sean Connery, as much as I do. Put something together for David. So he did. And here we are.
Scott Wells, here to share a recipe for the perfect vodka martini. And of course, the best way of making one is to begin with a excellent vodka. I, of course, recommend using Illusion vodka. Another important thing is to fill your ice shaker completely with ice. You put the ice in first, then pour the vodka on top of that in order to begin the freezing process immediately. It's also important you shake it a number of times. As a magician, I recommend shaking it 52 times. The reason you want to keep it shaken so many times is so that way that it becomes almost frozen. Some people like to keep their vodka in the freezer. I prefer mine just out on the shelf next to James. After it's shaken an appropriate number of times, you can then pour out the lovely concoction into a chilled glass. Again, you want to have just enough of a thin sheet of ice over there so a mosquito can actually ice skate across it. Next, I prefer to use just a small amount of vermouth. And when I say small, that's it, just a spritz. Bill Palmer suggests a whisper vermouth. That's all he needs. But again, very light on the vermouth and mainly vodka. And so I would then put in blue cheese olives, or perhaps you might like to have just a twist of lemon. Either is acceptable, at least for me. So from me to you, cheers, Anthony.
Cheers, Scott.
Oh, cheers, God. My gosh.
I
was
think
great.
Sean would improve.
Okay, we're now
Nice.
coming to the time where we're not quite ready to wrap it up yet. And I'm sure, well, certainly for me, there's a kind of zillion things that I would love to cover and continue to cover. And I might just twist your arm, Mr. David Zaritsky, to coming back another time. Yeah.
Don't threaten me. Sorry.
So we'd love to cover, but we do have a couple of other things that we want to do in the show, and also kind of a little surprise for you.
Are Gene and Betty going to sing? Because I'm in if they're going to sing.
Betty is fine. Gene would be good. Just no, not Gene. No, definitely. I love those two people, man.
Okay.
I'll be in their house guest in Houston, and no, let's not go there. I love Houston. I got family and friends and hung out there. I used to be stomping around at one time. And Scott's from Houston, as is Bill Palmer, one of our great masters, a legend actually. So I love Scott Line of where the mosquito could skate across it.
Do mosquitoes have friends?
Well, possibly. I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah,
About half of the audience understood that.
You remember that scene? You remember that scene in? You know that lovely thing where the ninja does in?
You Only Live Twice.
Twice. Thank you.
Yes.
Where it comes dripping down. I guess,
Yes.
And it kills the poor lady. Yeah. Well, I mean, would that be cool if Q or somebody made a little mosquito that came round and buzzed.
Or how about a
and-
poisonous butterfly from A View to a Kill?
Oh yeah! Wow, you
He's
didn't
got
show us
more
that.
props.
Yes.
I didn't expect
well,
that.
You bet. No, I didn't. Come on, show us some more. What else you got?
There's so much. I have an exploding watch from Moonraker with
Wow.
the stuff that, it's just, there's, you know what it is? It's boys with toys.
That's why you're here. Show it to the boys and girls. What
That's
else you
it.
got?
I've
You managed to
exhausted.
Oh, you have for the moment. Okay, we'll
Yes.
bring you back. You know, I've seen that basement of yours that they called it, the basement. I would call it the lower room. Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I told you, it's copyrighted. Okay. The private joke, folks. Well, I think now we've kind of gone in there, and I hope we've given people some indication of the crossover between the performance art or performing arts, and because magic is often used in concerts, you know, with pyrotechnics and other things. What we want to do now, before we get to the meet and greet, etc., is I would like to turn this over to your older and possibly wiser brother, Joel.
Totally wiser. Isn't it clear?
Not
Pretty obvious that he's the wiser brother.
I ain't gonna get
I'm
in.
not wiser.
I'm-
I'm just as crazy as you are. I mean,
Look at all
just
the
as insane, folks.
look at all the
So,
Batman stuff in the back.
just
Wow.
as insane. Yeah, just a different venue. Okay.
What did our mother do right or wrong? You be the judge,
man.
ladies and gentlemen.
But we do have a normal sister, though. That's it.
But she's not on
No,
the show.
the reason for all the Batman, because David alluded to it, and gee, how can you not notice, is that if you look down at the Zoom where he's got his name, it says Dr. Joe. He is actually a doctor, leading dentist in New York. Dr. Joel Batman Zaritsky. He's a huge Batman fan, and he has performed and done things in the Bat outfit, but I'll leave him to tell you that later. But what we want to do, I think, at this moment, Joel. Oh, Joel, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is our dean of our International Assembly and a former president just last year of the whole of the Society of American Magicians. So it's not just here as Joel's brother, but today I suspect he may be here as a combination of all three. So over to you, Joel.
Thank you so much, Anthony. So, David, our magic wand artiste, Dan Sclair, has actually fabricated 2 James Bond 007 wands for you. The first one, if you take a look at that, obviously it's all 007. He fabricated this himself. Has actually shell casings on the ends and tips.
That's so cool.
And the other one, as you can see, is a 007 one.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Fabricated, like I said, by wand artiste Dan Sclair. So
I am putting
I will
those right on
present to you.
eBay. Those are amazing. No,
No,
I'm
not
not.
on
I'm
eBay.
just kidding.
This is-
Those are beautiful. Thank you. Wait, are those
Fantastic.
for me or for you?
No, those are for you, buddy. I'm giving you I see you next week. Actually, both of these are for you to go into your James Bond collection.
That's right. So my brother and I are doing On Her Majesty's Secret Service skiing next weekend. And we're going to be doing that as a video for me. My brother's a much better skier. So he's going to be the one calling the ambulance. But you'll see that later next week.
Pack your chute, David. Pack your chute. Remember,
I
it's in the
know.
script. It's in the script. It's in the
I
script.
know.
No, I know. Joel told me you two guys are heading off doing your Bond thing.
Here we are.
Skiing next weekend.
Yes.
But we've got to give a shout out to Dan because it was so cool. He knew
So
we were doing this.
nice.
He got in touch with Joel. He says, "Is this for real?" I said, "Yeah, it's for real." And he really is. I mean, he's a master wand maker. You should see his stuff. I mean, you
That
really
is so
should.
cool.
If you're a
Thank you.
magician, I'm sure you're more than welcome me saying that. But anyway, you should take. If you're a magician and you're watching this, right, that bang wand is wonderful. I was actually going to dig mine out, which is up there where some of my stuff is left. And I thought, no, I don't have to climb up there because Joel told me last night when we were like, formatting and everything. He said, look what I got from Dan. And I was, whoa, cool. So let's wait till the end of the show to present that to David.
So cool. Thank you.
I hope
Now,
this
second part.
Oh,
David, I see that you are drinking something.
why, yes, Joel, I am drinking
Yes,
something.
but you are drinking at, what is that glass?
That is a Duralex, screen accurate Duralex glass. Yes.
Okay. So I would like to make a toast to both yourself for coming on here and giving all this instructions. Thank you so much. And to Anthony Darkstone. And I'm breaking out the Oban Distillers 18-year
Wow.
for you. So
Fancy. Wow, you're going to neck that thing. Nice.
cheers to both of you and to all of you in the audience. Thank you all for coming and thank you for being here.
Mastrovia in his
Mastrovia.
best Smirch voice.
As we say in Klingon, Nakneh!
That'll work too.
Yeah. This is exactly how I thought it was going to go. Yay.
All you people that are not magicians have now realized how much fun we have in the Society of American
You
Magicians.
do have fun. You know what? No, good on you.
Just consume a drink.
We speak Klingon. and all
what's the
kinds
point of living
stuff.
if you can't feel alive? Right, Anthony? Right?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. The purpose, and I can't remember his name, but I vaguely paraphrased the quote. Life is not, just kind of ambling along, but you go, wow, what a ride. And then just crash into your grave.
It was either Cheech and Chong or Joe Darlington who said that.
Neither of them. I'm trying to.
It was Joe Darlington.
Hunter Thompson. That's it. I got it.
Oh.
Hunter Thompson. Hunter J. Thompson. Yeah, look it up. It's a great quote. I've just paraphrased it.
No, that is
So,
good.
well, you got to do it, man. Why not? Yeah.
Can I ask a question of Joel?
Yeah.
Just a quick one. So Joel, I mean, you grew up with this fascination of Batman. I remember when we were kids, we got the Mego dolls and things like that. And then when you were an adult and had some folding cash, you really gravitated to Batman. Same with me and James Bond. What do you think it is about our upbringing that made us gravitate to these particular iconic characters?
That's a great question. Like I said, you've always been a Bond fan, always. And I've always been a Batman. I mean, my age group is, and I'm sure many people in this audience right here grew up with Adam West, probably watching that. And of course, my great thing was to get to meet him before he passed away, wearing that outfit, to which he said to me, "And who's the man behind the mask?" And which I was just, okay, I can pass away. I'm good. So, but I think, and this is probably in magic, there's a joy. There's a joy not only in collecting and in showing and illustrating, but showing other people. And then that's the same thing in magic, is that there's not just the entertainment value. We love to bring smiles to people, and people always smile. I mean, we put on the costume, and that it brings everybody up. That's what we want. We want that energy. We want that everybody to feel that good part of them, and whether it be Bond or Batman or magic, it's all part of the energy that we portray, that we want for people to have.
That's perfectly said.
On whatever character. It could just be yourself, but it just happens that we're just nuts. So that's why we collect. So.
No, I love it, because we do. I mean, you run your own dental practice. I have an advertising company. We have very stressful jobs, employees and things like that. And it's like you need that escape, that joy. And if you can share that joy with other people, you're doubling down on it, to use a casino term.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Sorry, Anthony, back to you.
No, please don't be sorry. Not at all. This is what it's all about. It's a conversation, It's not, as you rightly said, one of those, I hate those. It's not me. Hello, how old are you? When did you start doing this? No. Anybody who's watched the Darkstone Dossiers knows it's not my style. They just don't want to know. Yeah, I don't do home folksy, unless, of course, I'm sitting at a fire and you've got enough, food to give me and on a stick or whatever. But anyway, and a topic like this with a gentleman such as yours, who is obviously, I think, as everybody's just found out, so well informed and specialized. I know you don't like that word, but I'm going to use it anyway because it's true. You are. I don't know anybody other than you, and I dare say other people will agree with me, who has that many props and understands the subject. And the proof of it was that the major network in England, ITV, of all the people they could have picked to talk about the Bond release, picked you. So I think that pretty much, qualifies and says what I've said. Now, before I kind of wrap up and get to the meet and greet part, please go to the chairman of the life memberships of the SAM, Mr. Dan Sclair.
David, thank you very much. It's a great program. I'm going to have to go to your YouTube Bond experience. I want to see more of your stuff. Hope you enjoy the 2 wands that are coming to you. And
Thank you.
again, this is a wonderful program. I've been a James Bond fan since I was a young teenager.
Thank you
Enjoy
so
the
much
wands.
for the wands. The wands are amazing. Seriously, it really touched me. Thank you.
Who would have guessed, Dan, that you're a Bond fan? I mean, just look at your backdrop.
Yeah.
I just did that today. That was a poster.
I
down in
know,
Rikers.
I know. I've never seen that before when you've attended the shows. Wow, that is so cool. That is
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah. I would like to ask you, in fact, to welcome the next president, Rod Chow, and his team. We welcome the world. So I think it would be very remiss of me if I didn't ask him to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. Wow, what a program today. Amazing. The passion of all of you, Anthony and David. I don't even know who's the bigger fan here. Anthony or David. This is amazing.
Anthony.
Yeah,
No.
I can see that. And then
He's
with
got
Joe there.
more props. He's got more props.
Joe, the other Zaritsky. So it's this is historic to see Zaritsky and Zaritsky together, Batman and Bond. The dynamic duo we have here on screen right now.
I like that.
So this is incredible. Yeah, We Welcome the World is going to be my new theme in July when the SAM will be holding their national council meeting in Quebec City right before FISM.
Is
Sorry to
FISM
interrupt,
a
Rod.
soda convention? Is that
I'm
the
just-
soda
no,
convention?
well, he'd have to ask. No, it's Fédération Internationale Société de Magique, which is abbreviated to FISM. And what that is all the major magic organizations and clubs in the world send 1 or 2 people to compete. And it has been described quite accurately, wouldn't you say, Rod and Joel, as the Olympics of magic.
I just found out that our most illustrious is here.
I didn't spot him in the gallery.
David
So-
Copperfield?
Thank you.
Oh, even better.
Even better than that. We refer to the all presidents when they hold office as most illustrious. Tom Gentile, which is our current SAM president. Tom, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, David. Unbelievable talk. I love the collection. I love the presentation. Appreciate
Okay.
the afternoon. I'm waiting to see that car you talked about in the little trailer.
Anytime. It's in the garage.
Yeah.
Wow,
You
we
didn't
had
have it in Poughkeepsie though, did you?
I didn't because, anytime it might rain, yeah, it's one of those cars. I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm going to take it out.
So David lives around the Amish area in Pennsylvania. And he took me for the first time driving around in that. Now, I usually have no fear. I'm holding the dashboard like this as he's coming around the bend because this Aston Martin, David, you augmented the car, correct? With
Slightly.
the sound.
It has some modified extras that I put in there. Yeah.
You have the
think on
road
the,
slick. Drop the oil for people chasing.
It's got it all. Caltrops, machine guns, parachutes. Yeah,
excellent.
it's all-
I think the lady that was on the major network in England, when you were being interviewed there for your speciality, I think she mentioned the value on the car.
a limited edition that they were showing me, and yeah,
Right. Yeah, just slightly less, I would imagine.
I'd be sitting in a refrigerator box right now, not a comfortable leather chair.
Well, there we are. But I just want people to know that you got one, and we put that in many posts,
That's fine.
which would have changed. So thank you very much, Tom. And just two very quick announcements to our magic friends who are here.
What a
Exactly.
wonderful meeting this was. Great meeting you, David. I have been a James Bond fan for many years, going back to the Sean Connery days, and always great to see Dr. Joel and, of course, Anthony. Thank you for putting this amazing thing together, you guys.
Yeah, it was
Our pleasure.
amazing. And Zaritsky, your parents didn't do anything wrong. I think it just turned out perfect.
Ah.
My
Thank you.
mom is actually in the audience. You should have her on. Ask her all the
Or she might
psychiatric
say
questions.
something else.
That is something I will leave to you and Joel. I did that on a
Oh.
show once, and I don't think she was too pleased with me. We also have a very, very good buddy of mine who did the thing with the cat and the floating martini glass and the, I don't know if he was holding a Walter, but whatever it was. Paul Abbey.
Oh yeah, how you doing?
Okay,
you doing?
well, good. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for that nice thing with the cat and the floating martini glass.
That was hysterical. That
Good
was so
fun.
great. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
because you've had some links with Pinewood. You know some people there when they were making different Bond movies, right?
Ooh.
Because you're also an actor.
Oh yeah. I've got a couple of stories for you, David, if you're interested.
Hell yeah. They're Bond. Bring it on.
Well, the first one is I've actually handled a real one of these, and this the thing that I had at the clip at the beginning. There was two things. Is that I'm into the model cars. I've only got a few left, but all the model cars that I've got are actually movie cars, and so that's the actual original Corgi one that was
Corgi.
introduced back in the 60s and 70s, the DB5.
Hello. I guess I will make this one quick. I gotten this one from a nice library for free. The Complete Illustrated Guide to Gambling, published copyright 1964. David, you said that Dr. No came out in 1962.
I don't know if I ever quoted the year, but yeah, that is the year that it came out.
Okay. Well, in 1963, January, Sean Connery, noted, of course, for playing James Bond as a top flight gambler as well as a spy. Turns out he actually was there at the casino, St. Vincent's Casino in Italy. And Sean Connery, let's, David, do you know James Bond's favorite number to play in roulette? It's the same number that Sean Connery played 3 times in a row, winning $30,000. He's played 17 black 3 times in a row. And here's a photograph of the documents of him actually at the casino table. So I'll just share this really quick picture. There he is in the lower part right there.
The reason I am following your channel, The Bond Experience, because I've been following it since 2019. The James Bond 007 Volume 2, which is a comic which prelims into one of Anthony's favorite villains, not Red Grant, but Goldfinger.
Very well played by Gert Fröbe, wonderful actor. I
Yes.
thought he played that part perfectly.
He was only better in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That was it. That was the only
Yeah.
role he did better.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
Nick.
know.
Hey guys, how we doing today?
Chris,
Good.
what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, David? Nice to meet you, man. And Anthony, I wanted to thank you as well for putting all this on. This has been a lot of fun, guys. Really, it has. And I've been looking forward to this all weekend. I made it by about 2 minutes.
Nice.
So glad I could squeeze in here with you guys. David, though, I wanted to reach out and kind of find out 2 questions for you real quick.
Okay.
One, I just found out you're from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So this triggered from this video. Are you a Penguins fan?
No, I'm not what you would call a sporting person.
Okay.
So I actually don't even have any teams in any locations that I follow.
Well, I had to ask because your background color is Penguins yellow. At least it is on camera.
It's also
So
Eames Mid-Century Modern, which is a lot of
Okay.
my furniture. So I swear that's how I chose it. I'm such a geek.
Okay, that's cool. I get it.
By the way, what are you drinking, Chris?
Not quite the same. I'm a rum guy. So I've got some Jamaican rum with some seltzer.
Nice.
Good
My
job.
wife brought me a refill of the Johnny Walker Black, but she brought it in the Casino Royale glass that you might recognize when he's bleeding and everything.
This guy never disappoints. Even when he gets a refill from somebody, they bring it to him in a special.
That was a
bond-rated
surprise
glass.
for my wife. I know.
What got you into this? And then I
Yeah.
guess my question would be, what movie was it that hooked you first?
So there were 2 gateways, and actually Joel was a part of the first one. Rainy Day in Atlantic City. My father mother, brother, sister. We always went to Atlantic City to vacation. We went into a movie, and I just remember this big, tall guy and a shark, and it was The Spy Who Loved Me. And it was a tradition that Joel and I would always get the Corgi, someone said Corgi, Batmobiles that fired the rockets. Joel got the Corgi. On this day, I got the Corgi Aston Martin. And so it was my first gateway. And then fast forward, I was like 32 years old. Tomorrow Never Dies was the thing that spun me into the Bond lifestyle. You know, seeing Pierce Brosnan in the suits, the car, you know, the phone, everything just catapulted me into this crazy world.
Yeah. My wife's a distant cousin of Pierce Brosnan, so is my son. My wife's grandmother's family are the Brosnans. So
make the introduction, man. What are you doing?
I've never met him, but
that's great. And I'm a big fan of the Force Awakens as well. So well done on the shirt.
Oh, before we go to the next person, I've just remembered something, and this just really applies to all our magician friends here. I mean, lay people, I can share it. Within the SAM International Assembly, we have assembly envoys that I appoint for different countries, like, as you've heard, from Morocco, Canada, different places. And I'm delighted to tell you that Michael Kelly, who is here and has been right from half an hour before we even curtain up, is our newest assembly envoy for the Isle of Man, which, for the three people who don't know, is a little island off the west coast of England, the UK. And we've also appointed a gentleman called Tommy Burnett, and he is our assembly envoy for the entire state of New York. And last but not least, if you're not a magician, but you like magic, I would suggest you go to www.sam.com and seek out a section called Friends of Magic. So if you're a lay person and you enjoy magic, you can actually join that.
Hi guys. Hiya.
Well,
I just want to ask you a question, David. But before I say that, I just want to say that I think, honestly, mate, you are one of the best ambassadors for the band community. I think you're so interactive with the community, and it's just so brilliant. And you're one of my heroes in the community. So I just want to say thank you for that first and foremost.
Dude, thank you so much. You should reevaluate your heroes for sure. No. That is so nice of you to say. That's very touching, actually. Thank you.
Cheers. The question I wanted to ask is, I mean, we've all got loads of items in collections. I mean, but I was just wondering, and it's probably going to be hard to recollect because I know you've got loads of items in your collection, but is there any that you probably say is your weirdest item in your collection?
You know, I that's so funny because I could go literally movie by movie and talk about my weirdest. You know, the poisonous butterfly is pretty damn weird. A doo-doo. I wish I had only one. I've got 4. And no grown man 54 years old should have 4 doo-doos. Anthony, I'm not getting saucy here. It's a stuffed animal. Tarot cards. Those are pretty cool. All right. No, I do have the strangest one. Hold on a second. I have a replica of the cherry Coke bottle that Paloma drinks out of from No Time to Die.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But who wouldn't want that?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And
Jordsly.
That's really cool.
I don't know what the story is behind that, David, but I tell you what, your mom burst out laughing when you talked about it.
My mom is very easy. By the way, at some point, she's been dying to ask questions and get on here, so we'll definitely have to fit her in at some point.
No, I'm going to leave that to Joel.
Oh,
I'm going to leave that to Joel.
Didn't see that coming.
No, she's shaking her head, going, no. I told you, man, I did that once way back in the day on a different show.
Not a lot of people know this, but she was a Broadway star for many years. There was an incident and has sworn off coming on these types of things.
Chorus girl. Then
she did Cabaret. Then she did Les Mis.
Cabaret.
Will, I'm sorry. That was an awesome question.
Honestly, it's fine. One more thing I want to say before I go is that I'm on one of the school trips that I'm going to be doing. Is the next year I'm going on, there's going to be a ski trip where we go to Austria. So I just wanted to listen to, you know, the Escape from His Gloria track.
Yes.
From that. I just wanted to listen to that while I'm skiing, but yeah, that's going to be so fun. If I can record it, you know, on a GoPro or something like that.
Do it. Seriously, do it and then send it to me. I would love to see that. And I'll put it up on Instagram if you do it. How about that for incentive?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, that would be great. Thank you.
You got it, brother. Be well.
Hey, Will, just so you know, I'm a very big skier. I go skiing every single week there too. When I ski, I play James Bond. I'm playing the tunes when I'm skiing because I'm going to that's pretty cool, man.
And it's none of that namby-pamby stuff. I mean, he doesn't even wear a chute. All he's got is skis and poles. That's it. You know?
Yeah, Joel's an impressive skier. I will tell you that.
I hope you can hear me
Perfectly. Hi, Hazan.
First, I want to say fantastic presentation. It was really interesting. You know, magic and Bond, you wouldn't really relate that, but turned out to be very entertaining. So I have two questions for you. One of the first videos I watched of your channel was when you visited the GoldenEye Resort, and you talked about getting that Fleming mindset. You know, wearing Sea Island cotton or drinking Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. Just simple things like that, eating what he would, surrounded by greenery in Jamaica. I want to ask, how special are those moments? You know, do they act as like a break from reality?
Yeah, it's a great question because I think people tend to gravitate to Golden Guns and Aston Martins, and really the biggest joyful, impactful moments with the Bond experience that I've encountered are those small ones. Being on GoldenEye and watching a hummingbird, you know, having a sip of Blue Mountain coffee, you know, eating ackee, snorkeling off of those reefs there, you know, just being kind of one with nature. And that's what Fleming was all about. The bad guys in his books were anti-nature. They would kill birds. They would pollute the areas. And so he was one of the first conservationists, which is why GoldenEye does that. So those moments were not just Bond and Fleming. They were memorable for me to just get a moment of zen and just remember that it's not the Aston Martins. It's not the watches. It's about really just feeling very secure and confident in yourself, in your surroundings. That's what Bond is all about.
What was like buying your first Bond watch?
This is a tough follow-up question because I just said how beautiful a hummingbird is, and now I got to talk about buying a couple $1,000 watch. But it was amazing, of course, because you're capturing a moment from the film that you can wear around you, and it's this moment of escape where you're sitting in this harsh corporate setting, and then suddenly you look down and you're like, oh, that's right, I love James Bond. What can you do to me, boss? Nothing. So yeah, it's an escape valve.
Yeah, you
unfortunately.
Okay, first of all, thank you for setting this. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, David, for setting this up. Yes, I've been fairly long follower of the Bond experience, and that's why I'm here. But I'm actually wanting to ask Joel a question. As much as I am a Bond fan, I am also, I don't know if this is a boast or an admission, I've probably read almost every single Batman comic from 1939 to 2005. So I wanted to ask you, looking at all your paraphernalia, wonderful collection you got there, I probably would love to see it as much as David's. And I was just wondering, where do you gravitate towards? Do you gravitate more towards the fun, the Adam West, or do you go more towards like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight?
That's a great question. There's always a place in my heart for Adam West, always, because that's, as a kid, that's what I grew up with. But I really loved Ben Affleck's version of The Dark Knight because he, first of all, if you look at Ben Affleck, he totally bulked up for it. He exactly what he's supposed to be in the comics. He's this huge, well-built gentleman, 6'2", 210 pounds. Ben Affleck, out of most any other of the Batmans, really exemplifies that. I'm very looking forward to Robert Pattinson, because we're going to a version that's very dark.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to jump in here. Mr. Scott Wells.
Cheers, Anthony.
Cheers, Scott.
Scott.
So good to see all of you gentlemen, and I'm glad to be part of this today. I have been a longtime James Bond fan as well. So much so, of course, Sean Connery is my favorite, that my son is named Sean after Sean Connery. Wow. And I have a quite interesting collection of James Bond memorabilia then as well. Begin with the board games, and I had all the bubblegum card collections and the cards and whatnot. And when I was dating my wife, I was using James Bond lines on her, which it must have worked. Because
did you
she
say
said
man
yes.
talk and slap her in the butt? Probably not.
No,
There was
no,
something.
I don't- Kathy wasn't somebody who slapped on the butt, was she, Scott? No. blessings for her memory.
Don't knock
Yeah,
it till you
thank
try.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So here's to you, David. Thank you very much again.
Thank
for being on this
you.
program.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, Scott.
By the way, we have a ringer because it's not only incredibly well known in the James Bond community, not only is he one of the heads of a geographically expansive fan club, he's been a partner of mine on a lot of my videos, and we've actually gone on vacation together. So this guy's a ringer.
The Netherlands is almost Sunday here, but
Yeah, what
loving
time
your
is it
show.
there?
It's 12 o'clock Sunday. Yeah, but I'm dedicated,
You
First
are.
of all, great to see you all. Anthony, great show. Joel, nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you
Cheers.
finally.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I got a small scoop for David. We are going to be soon at the James Bond Netherlands Foundation. So you have to say president soon to me.
Oh, wow. No kidding. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
it's-
man.
thank you. What do you love the most about the Bond experience? I know the answer, but tell us.
Well, no. It has to be the people. You knew I was going to say it is the people I'm going to meet, but I will say I'll amend it just slightly because to me, as Joel said with his joy remark, this to me is therapy. So, I don't get up in the morning and go, oh, I got to make a video. Oh, I got to make a post. This is like my joy before the world wakes up. Yort already knows this, but I get up 3:30, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning. I have to live my dreams because I don't sleep. So I get about 4 hours a night. And before anybody has an intervention, I've been doing this for 12 years. But I have to, it is literally my therapy in doing this. But a big part of it is this, is just connecting with people. Like I didn't know Anthony. And now that he has a restraining order against me, I probably won't know him after this. But imagine if we could. Imagine.
Yeah.
Be amazing.
A wonderful program this afternoon. I didn't realize that Batman had a brother. Couple things, okay? First one has to do with Batman. There is a Batmobile here in Billings, Montana.
Nice.
It's one of the original ones from the TV show. Also, if you want the true James Bond skiing experience, you need to come out here to Montana and ski Big Sky.
Oh, I so want to go out to Montana. Montana looks amazing. And I'm such a big Yellowstone fan too, to boot.
Hi.
Hey.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Greetings from Texas. So I just wanted to thank you, Anthony, for putting on such a fabulous presentation. Hello to the Dean, Batman. Good to see you as always.
PG.
And David, it's such a pleasure to get to meet you on the screen.
Thank you.
Is there your Aston Martin? Is it anywhere on your Bond experience videos?
Yes, it's all over it. I mean, I have it when
Okay.
the experience of buying it, the experience of driving it, the experience a year later, 2 years. Honestly, I think there's like 8 videos around the Aston Martin experience.
I just wanted to give your mom accolades.
Oh.
I had parents that nurtured my brother and I to become the successful human beings that we are. And you have 2 wonderfully talented sons.
Thank you.
She is amazing. She did an amazing job helping us cultivate our imagination growing up. And I can attest, I was very much into Star Wars, and I would take styrofoam blocks from a refrigerator coming in were the new fortresses that I would build. And Joel and I would play for hours. And we were in a home that wasn't neighboring to a lot of other kids. So she was the one that would help generate our imagination, our cultivation of escapism and these things. So we always pay deference to her, for sure.
And also, people ask us, well, where do we get our energy from?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it's from this lady right here. She leaves us in the dust when it comes to the amount of energy. she still does therapy dogs that she takes to hospitals and does programs and things like that. So
She
we
goes
can't
down the
hold a
Nile like
candle to
Indiana
her.
Jones. She is Indiana Jones.
She is
Like
Indiana
in real
Jones.
life. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Are you looking to adopt any more family, Marianne?
Oh.
No, thank you, dear.
Oh, gee. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
What is your overall favorite James Bond film?
Yeah. So I always play the game. If I was on a deserted island and I only had one Bond film, which one would I choose that I'd have to? Casino Royale. It's not, and he's not my favorite actor. I'm like Anthony. I like Sean Connery the best.
What's your favorite gadget?
It's the Ericsson phone. Yeah, I fell in love with that. Just everything that he did in there, and just again, Brosnan. Could do no wrong.
So first of all, thank you for all of you for the great presentation. I'm a big Bond fan, of course. Follow David from the beginning of the Bond experience. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Two things that actually came up. At first of all, connecting between Bond and magic for me. First of all those small Bond moments are actually magic moments.
First of all, shalom.
Shalom.
Mishpocha. She saw my ema, as a matter of fact. But real quick,
Thank you, Joel. Thanks, Anthony, and thanks, David. So great to be here and meet you. And I'll talk quickly. I know it's been a long but wonderful presentation. But really, I just wanted to share my love and passion of James Bond with you.
Hello, hi. Just want to say thank you for this. It's been amazing. And David, which is your favorite Bond location? It can be anywhere in the world, anywhere that you've been. Which was your favorite to go to and why?
Oh, wow. So I'm going to have to say it was GoldenEye, Jamaica.
Yeah.
It's actually not a Bond location. It is where Ian Fleming wrote his books. But from a filming location, I loved Siena, Italy, where they filmed Quantum of Solace. It's this medieval town where it doesn't look any different than it has in the last 1,000 years, and it doesn't look any different than in the film. So you could kind of do all your creepy poses and things like that. It's fun.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the point where I want to just say from the heart, both personally and professionally, a very huge thanks to my wonderful guest, David Zaritsky.
Oh, Anthony.
Obviously, my brother from a different, you're very welcome. My brother from a different mother.
Are you sure she's here?
No, I haven't got to him yet, but I will. Oh. My brother from a different mother, Joel Zaritsky, who has been an incredibly great friend and has done amazing stuff with these shows and other things like dollar shows, etc., that I produce, without whom I really couldn't do anything. My thanks to special operatives behind the scenes, Michael Kelly and Peter Stevens, who man the gallery and make sure there's no nonsense. And we did have some today, and they threw them out. And of course, all my good pals, Scott, Sylvia Scepter, Nuruddin Malawi, Paul Abbey, and Michael Likey, who came on and did some magic for us. So basically, to everybody, thank you so much. I've had a blast, and I hope you have too. It's just been really wonderful to combine two passions of mine. So thank you, David. And I think perhaps, David, you have a few end words.
First of all, no, I just really short thank you, Anthony. Going into this, Joel, I considered my best friend. He has lost that position handily because you are, Anthony. You are my new best friend. Thank you.
Wow. Well, can you have us both? I mean,
No, there can be only one. Connor McLeod.
Well, yeah, maybe so, but I ain't going skiing, opera ski, right? But no, I know what you mean, and thank you so much. I'm sort of embarrassed, which is why I was being flippant.
Well, don't be. You deserve it.
Well, thank you. I will now turn you over to, another best friend, and really brother from a different mother. So I think to call it a wrap and the end words, turn you over to our former president and indeed the dean of our SAM International Assembly, Dr. Joel Zaritsky.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, David. Thank you, Anthony. Dos Speed on ya!